Now you load into a random seed, the very first thing you want to do is find a village. And I'm going to be honest, this isn't exactly a random seed, it's actually the seed that Curryway got his sub 15 minute world record run on, so it makes the perfect demonstration for this video. Fun fact, he later got a sub 10 minute run on this very seed, proving that sub 10 is actually possible, of course, if you are good and lucky enough. So here's a list of the resources that you actually need to get from this village. I'll put it over on the side of the screen while we destroy this wood over here. Now the thing is, in really any village, you're going to want to start over here at the blacksmith, because as you all know, in this chest you can find lots of resources, including obsidian, if you're lucky actually some armor, a saddle for a horse if you're going to find one, and of course some bread, which is of course all very useful. With this wood, then we're going to want to go over here and craft ourselves some basic tools. So here's what you're going to need leaving the village: 7 to 8 beds, a bucket, some bread, an iron pickaxe, blocks, wood. It's good to have a stone axe plus shovel for gathering resources. Obsidian is useful but not necessary if you want to go land travel later on in the nether. And then of course you don't need flint and steel right away, but it is important to have before you build your portal. Okay, on to collecting beds. Now a village is actually not necessary to get all these resources. For example, at least you can craft beds by crafting wool, the string you use from trading with piglins, though of course that's a bit more of an advanced strategy, a bit more difficult, and a village usually is the easiest, most effective, and most consistent ways of getting all the resources that you need. Also guys, you don't need to get a village, in the first minute of the run like this. You can always find one later on, so of course keep that in mind. Anyway, you're going to want to have around at least 7 to 8 beds for killing the ender dragon using the one cycle method. You of course can do that with a little bit less, but most speedrunners usually go for around 7 or 8 beds. Now the best way of finding beds is actually when you're running to the village, going to F5 mode, see where all of the houses is, and you can actually make a route around the village and plan which way you want to go, so you don't need to, backtrace your steps or anything like that to find all the beds that you need. So it's obviously very useful and can actually save you a fair amount of time if you do it right. Okay, we actually have more than enough beds right now, 8 beds right here, which should be enough to kill the ender dragon. At this point, you're going to want to get yourself a bit more wood using your axe. Wood's very important in Minecraft and is just useful for, crafting and using as blocks and stuff like that. Next up, over to our golem over here, build up a couple blocks high, use your axe as a weapon, and then of course kill the golem just like this, and collect some of his iron. Because you see, you need enough iron for both a pickaxe and a bucket. That's 6 iron right over there, and as you can see, we only have 4 iron. You're probably not going to find 6 iron in a blacksmith chest, unless you're really lucky, so you're probably going to need to kill a golem of a village. So boom, right there, we now have 4 pieces of iron, which is enough to craft ourselves a bucket. It's also useful to craft a boat early on in the match, just in case you come across any water. From this point, you're going to want to make sure you actually have enough bread. On his world record speedrun, Curryway actually got really lucky and found lots of bread in these chests, so he did not need to go and harvest any bread. But in case you're not as lucky, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to craft yourself a hoe in this crafting table over here. We actually don't have enough stone, so probably collect some now. Collect some, of course, earlier on, not to waste any time. But anyway, go over here and want to craft ourselves a hoe. Then right over here, you can see these hay bales. It allows us to destroy these hay bales actually pretty quickly. This will actually give us enough wheat to craft more than enough bread for the entirety of this run, just like this. So right over here, go to hay bales, 13 hay bales, 2 stacks of wheat almost. Go ahead and boom, right there, we can craft ourselves another probably 20 or 30 pieces of bread, which is definitely pretty nice. And I believe that is all you need right now. If you actually do it right, it should only take you about 2ish minutes to do all this. So next up, on our way to the nether. On this way, we're actually going to want to get ourselves some water over here, which is very useful for building a nether portal on top of gravel over here, which we're going to want to use for our flint and steel. So of course, 1 piece of flint right there, boom, craft ourselves some flint and steel just like that. Now, as I am sure you all know, the fastest way to get to the nether is of course through building a portal over at a lava pool. But exactly how are you going to find a lava pool? Because it can be a little bit tricky. Well, first of all, walking around over here, you're going to want to walk over at a biome like the desert over here. That's what Curryway originally did in his world record, because lava pools are more likely to spawn, of course, over in the desert. You can use our boat right over here to get across pretty quickly. But actually, after getting his world record, Curryway discovered that there's a lava pool that spawns right over here on this seed in particular, and he admitted in his world record run he actually should have gone in this direction. He's both next to the desert and actually next to the Sahara biome over here, which I believe also has an increased chance of there being a lava pool. So when you guys build a portal, I assume you probably do something like this, where you maybe, go ahead and place water and kind of go 1 piece at a time, moving your water location. Maybe mess up like this and get rid of half your lava by accident. You managed to build yourself a nether portal in only about a tiny 5 years. Yeah, this actually takes a while to do it this way. It's not very efficient, so of course, you're not going to want to do that on a speedrun. There's actually a lot better way, as you can see on screen now by Illumina, where you preserve your water and build it in about 10 seconds. It's pretty quick. I'm not going to show you how to do it now, because it'll take at least 3 to 4 minutes for me to do it in depth, but I want to keep this video just the simple tricks for speedrunning, and you don't want to see, a big thing on that. So it's a 1.5 minute video. It has almost as many views as every video I've ever made on my channel combined. So needless to say, you should check it out right after this video. It is super helpful for building a good nether portal pretty quickly. Alright, so now that we're in the nether, what are we going to want to do? Well, we're going to want to find this thing right over here, which, as you all probably should know, it is a bastion. That is because, okay, let's not die to these piglins over here. They're going to want to kill us. Don't worry, guys, we'll get golden boots in just a second, but there's actually a lot of gold that spawns right over here. And there are these hogs who are gonna completely kill me. Come on, man. It's not goal. Step away from the goal. Come on. I mean, he looks pretty nice, but I gotta burn him. He must burn. I'm sorry. I hate to see it. Anyway, over here we actually have a lot of golden blocks which you can use to, of course, convert into golden ingots to trade with piglins. Now, of course, you don't need a bastion. You can also, go around and mine gold ore manually and stuff like that. But that's going to add a lot of time to your run and make it a lot harder to get all the resources you need. You can actually be a lot quicker over here than doing this with a bastion. Anyway, convert it to golden ingots right over here. Then we also have to go over here and trade other piglins. I highly, highly recommend crafting yourselves a pair of golden boots. I almost died trying to, get up here because there were so many piglins and stuff. So, of course, in the nether, have golden boots so they don't kill you. Okay, we are actually in a new round now because I may or may not have just died. Like, something you should know about me is I suck at explaining things. I have to go into multiple games to record these videos. Anyway, we're going to use a strategy by 11 billion, but first we gotta make sure these piglins don't kill us. Anyway, run over here, past all of these guys, give them some golden ingots so they start trading, while you're doing this. Also, make sure to kill all the hoglins that will spawn. They're giving me a hard time, so I went ahead and killed them all in creative. You can't do that while playing, but once again, for the second demonstration, pretend that, the hoglins. Anyway, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go over here, and we wanna build up into like a bridge. Obviously, this is actually the bridge method, which I'm not sure if I said that yet, but, it's kind of important to build up in the bridge. For the bridge method, after all. This was by 11 billion, by the way. We already have a bit of a bridge going here, but that's not the right bridge that we're doing. Okay, we're gonna build a bridge across just like this over here, then build behind us like this. This is a little odd. We actually want to have one golden block, so don't craft one golden block and a gold ingot. Then build up here and destroy the block. Nope, not with an axe, with a pickaxe, just like that. These guys will come across you. Then before they knock you down, nope, don't let them shoot you like that. Boom, knock them down, and then they can go ahead, throw your gold, don't throw it in the lava, and they're all going to start trading with it, just like that. And hopefully they're going to forget that that's the same gold that you just stole from them. So yeah, if there's any more piglins I don't see across, it should be enough to get ourselves some ender pearls. And so from this point, just wait. We're going to want to have three things. We're going to want to have, actually they already started. I don't think they're going to kill us. Okay, they're not going to kill us. We're going to want to have these ender pearls right here, a fire resistance potion. Then of course we're going to want to have some obsidian. Crying obsidian also has some definitely good uses, I believe, if you want to do the one cycle method. Anyway, ender pearls right over here. We currently have 5. Let's clear inventory a bit. We're going to want to have a total of 16 ender pearls. Now the reason for that is obviously for Eyes of Ender, but we're also going to want to use it to travel around. On top of that, we're going to need at least 10 pieces of obsidian, which we already have, which is not too bad. If you're not as lucky early on with the obsidian drops, you're going to need, give them more gold so they can trade with. But if you're not as lucky earlier on in the game, you might need to wait until you get a bit more obsidian. And finally, fire resistance is of course a very important fight in blazes in case we fall in the lava, and really come in clutch in these speedruns. Okay, 10 ender pearls, we're almost there. Of course, you have string over here, which you can use to craft wool for beds if you want to go with that kind of strategy. As you can see, lots of wool over here. We can craft beds. There's always an option if you don't find a village earlier on, but it's a little bit harder because you need a lot of string for that. Okay, there we go. Just over 16 ender pearls, so that should be enough. Obviously, make sure your inventory is pretty clear because you do not want them to clear up your inventory. A bunch of things that you straight up just don't need. Lots of fire resistance, definitely pretty nice. Okay, from this point, we're going to want to head over and find ourselves another fortress. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you find the Bastion or the Nether fortress first. It's really whatever just kind of happens. Now, the general rule of thumb is go out about, okay, did we miss that? Okay, good thing we didn't. Go out about 300 blocks. If you don't find an ender portal or a fortress, you probably should turn around. Anyway, you don't want to get too far away from your original portal in case you do not want to do some blind traveling in the nether, and in case you're not sure what blind travel is, don't worry, I'll show you what it is in just a couple of seconds. Anyway, on to killing blazes. Now, as you can see, boom, 2 blazes right there. We're actually in a soul sand desert right now. Now, what does that mean? That actually means that there's an increased probability. Do we have fire? Yes, we have fire rest. So that means there's actually an increased probability, I believe, of blazes spawning. I believe they spawn over there. No spawner. There's no spawner over there. Yeah, blazes did still spawn. Okay, let's block ourselves in. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I wanted to double check my recording to make sure I didn't, press the wrong button or anything like that. Hopefully the last clip wasn't too loud for you guys, though I did turn down the master volume a bit, so hopefully those piglins and places here will be a little bit less annoying. Back to what I was saying, there are lots of blazes here. Obviously, you can't control where the nether fortress spawns, and another fortress is better than no nether fortress. But if you're stuck between 2 nether fortresses and have to decide between one in a soul sand biome and one in not, always go with the soul sand biome, except, look how many wither skeletons there are. What is this, a speedrun to kill the wither? Anyway, back to killing blazes, of course, use your axe and use your fire res. That way they won't do really any damage to you unless they spawn right on you. And here you're gonna have to get a little bit lucky to get pretty good blaze rod drops. There's about a 50-50 chance of a blaze rod spawning per blaze that you kill, and you're going to need to have at least 6 of them, because here's some interesting math if you guys are interested in it. Okay, so if you harvest 6 blaze rods, you will get a total of 12 eyes of ender. You need at least 3 eyes of ender throws to find the stronghold. So at a 1 in 4 chance of each eye of ender breaking after each throw, that leaves you with only a 42% chance that none of your eyes of ender will break. And considering it's only about a 1 in 10 chance of an eye of ender spawning in each frame of the portal, if one of your eyes of ender does break, you only have a 72% chance of at least 1 eye spawning within the portal frame. Now since these numbers probably confuse you, if you have 6 blaze rods, the odds of you not having enough pearls to get into the end are about 30%, which goes to about 1 in 3 attempts. But if you harvest 7 blaze rods, you can get a total of 14 eyes of ender, which gives you a total of a 98.5% chance that 3 or more of your eyes of ender will not break, and then a 28% chance that no pearls will spawn in any of the portal frames. This leads to there being over a 99% chance that you'll have enough eyes to get into the end. Now, please keep in mind my math is almost definitely wrong here, but the central message is still there. Grabbing only 6 blaze rods is a little bit risky, but if you instead put in the time to grab 7, you are increasing your odds of making it into the end dramatically. We are actually getting horrible blaze rod luck here. Seriously, we only have 2 so far, and there's wither skeletons. No! Okay, guys, using my master skills, I just got 7 blaze rods completely legitimately. I did not cheat, and there's a blaze right there. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Let's drink our fire res right now. But totally didn't cheat. 100% legitimately. I don't know what you're talking about. I now have 7 blaze rods. Please don't burn them. I worked very hard for them. Totally didn't go into creative. Anyway, 7 blaze rods right over here. Very beautiful. What are we going to do now? Well, it's time to leave the nether. Now, 2 things you can do. First of all, if you can always go back to your original nether portal and then, of course, do the whole finding the end thing from there. But that's a little bit slow, and if you want to get a world record, there's something else that you're going to want to do, and that is blind traveling through the nether. So what exactly is that? Let's get somewhere safe so I can explain it to you all. And if we look at our coordinates right now, as you can see, what are you looking at? Inside of the nether, we are actually about 2... Why is there a ghast? Seriously. Okay, let's get to our safe area. But we're about-ish 240-ish blocks away from 0, inside of the nether. Now, you want to be about 230 to 270 blocks away from 0. And then at this point, you're going to want to build a portal. We're going to have to go back out over here somewhere to be about to the optimal length. Anyway, hopefully our fire res will come in clutch here. We're gonna have to be pretty quick though. Anyway, build ourselves a portal, and there's a ghast. Ow, ow, ow. That hurts. Boom, guys. There we go. Another portal just like that. Yeah, I kind of am cheating in creative. But for the sake of demonstration, here's what you're going to do. We're going to blindly guess where the stronghold is, and if I believe right, yep, we are actually underwater inside of a cave. Let's actually go back. Okay, no, we're in there now. That's not good. What I'm trying to show you guys is this will actually bring us a lot closer to a stronghold. It's kind of risky, but it will save a tremendous amount of time. Now, if we actually hit F3 right here, as you can see, we are about 2,000 blocks away from 0. Now, fun fact, a stronghold cannot spawn within the first 1,400 blocks from 0. So from my understanding, if your X plus Z coordinates add up to anything less than 1,400, you are too close to spawn for there to be a stronghold, so you just probably shouldn't be there at all. Anyway, obviously the first thing that you want to do once you get out of the stronghold is craft yourself some eyes of ender, and then of course start throwing them. Also, make sure not to forget your bow, because these are pretty important, especially if this drown's going to be after you. Anyway, I'm going to go into F3 right now, throw the Eye of Ender, and where is it going? It is going in this direction, right towards the moon. Come on. Okay, let's get that Eye of Ender back. We can actually see what angle it is by hitting F3, and if we look at this thing right over here, this will tell you the angle, and as you can see, it is going all over the place as I move my cursor around the screen. And what is this drown looking at? I see you there. Come on, what are you looking at? See under my boat? Yeah, he's right there. What are you looking at? Anyway, from this point, you're going to want to follow the Eye of Ender. Now, if we actually hit F3 and look at our F coordinates, it can mean one of 2 different things. First of all, if it points away from the direction of 0, that means you surprisingly still haven't traveled far enough away to where the ender portal does spawn. So if this happens, you're going to want to travel another couple hundred blocks along that same angle. Now, fun fact, if there are dolphins, as you can see over here, you want to actually use them because they are faster than boats, so keep that in mind. Anyway, now if you're like me, you may think you want to throw your eye like this and see what direction it goes, blah 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 blah, but you're actually not going to want to do that, because this was a bad example considering I kind of headed in the wrong direction, but essentially it'll only show you one direction along the angle. So this is actually probably the most complicated part of the video. It is super confusing, so I'm going to actually pull up this 10 out of 10 amazing drawing, as you can see right over here, of what exactly is going on. So right here is our 1200 block line. This is not overwhelmingly important. All you have to know is that this thing over here cannot spawn anywhere in this general area, so of course, don't go there. Anyway, you spawn to the nether portal right over here. You throw the eye, it points towards the moon over in this direction. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to walk in this direction about, let's say 200 or 300 blocks. But the thing is, if you're out here and you throw your Eye of Ender, where's it going to go? Well, it's just going to go back in this direction. So it's going to go in this direction and then in this direction. all that's telling you is, hey, you went too far. Your stronghold is somewhere between over here and over here. What we can actually do to save yourself a lot of time and of course some eyes of ender is actually walk over towards your right just a little bit, like over here, let's say. So then you throw another eye, and instead of it just going pointing along the same axis telling you it's in this general direction, it's actually going to point at an angle. This still tells us that the stronghold is somewhere between here and over here. The only difference is that we actually now know that it's somewhere along this line over here, because the eye ender is going over here. We now know to follow this line, which is the hypotenuse of the triangle, and this will bring us to exactly where the stronghold is. You see, the stronghold will be at the point where your original path and then your new path intersect. So anyway, we're actually in this Minecraft world right now. I already know where the stronghold is because I did watch like Curryway's videos like 5 different times. But by following this method, it'll tell us the stronghold is actually right down over here in this general area. Now guys, if you do throw your very first Eye of Ender and it actually points towards the direction of 0, 0, the only difference is that you now know not to pass the 1400 block line because there's no possible way that the stronghold can spawn past that line. Now obviously some things can go a little bit different than according to plan here. The only big thing though is if you throw your second eye, it actually points towards the same direction that you are already going. Going kind of improv here, assume the eye pointed in this direction, you could make the assumption that this portal will spawn where this new line and where you estimate the original line will be intersect. So just keep that in mind, and if you need to throw an extra Eye of Ender or 2, that's okay, though of course for every Eye of Ender you throw, it'll decrease the probability of you having enough eyes to make it into the end. Alright, we're at the stronghold now, and as you can see, the Eye of Ender does point straight down. Well, what do? First of all, hit F3. Yes, I did hit F2 by accident. If you look at our chunk over here, there is a strategy called the 4-4 method, where if you stand over here, where these 2 digits you can see right here are 4 and 4, and then you dig straight down, you're basically guaranteed to fall through the very center of the starter staircase. As you can see, boom, right down is a creeper! That is so unlucky. Oh my gosh. Okay, you have to have good reflexes or else you're gonna die. Okay, good, I'm not dead, and there's a silverfish, blah, 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 blah. At least we're alive. Maybe go into creative. But as you can see, boom, starter staircase, and there's, you know what? I'm not dealing with this right now. I'm going to creative. Okay, I'm actually peaceful now, so hopefully a creeper won't blow us up while I'm trying to explain this to you all. Okay, now onto the portal. Now you actually want to start over, of course, at the starter staircase. But if you're strangely not lucky enough to find the starter staircase right away and then get immediately blown up by a creeper, there is something you can do to find it pretty easily. And that is actually called the backwards door method. So to show you what I mean, I'm actually going to go to a random part of the stronghold. So let's say you dig into this room right over here, which is kind of completely random. Which way do you go? First of all, there's actually 2 doors in 2 directions. There's this door, and there's of course this door. Let's just pretend that this door does not lead to completely nowhere, so considering that, it's pretty obvious where to go, but assuming that actually leads somewhere, there are 2 doors, which one do you choose? Well, which door is backwards? Yep, as you can see, some doors actually spawn backwards, and you always want to go through these doors, because the idea that Mojang has is you're playing the game and you're going to a stronghold, they think you're coming from this direction. So of course you're going to see these doors, you know, in the right direction. This is a right direction facing door, and this is a wrong direction facing door. If you see a wrong direction facing door, that means you're going against the way Mojang intended for you to go, because they intended for you to start, of course, over at the starter staircase. So of course, follow the backwards facing doors, onwards and on, this will bring you straight to the starter staircase. And if you're actually very lucky, you will find the portal room along the way. But just in case you're not so lucky, boom, it'll bring you back to the starter staircase that kind of got blown up, which should only take you about a couple seconds to find. And only from this point, what do? Well, just explore a stronghold, pick a direction, and go with it. Now the thing is, a portal will actually spawn within the first, okay, this is a dead end. I literally saw the portal and I still can't find it. But the idea here is that the portal will spawn within the first 5 to 7 doors of the stronghold. So you go down 5 or 7 doors, you don't find it, just turn back and go in a different direction. Mojang doesn't want to make it too difficult to find after all. Okay, what am I looking at? Boom, another dead end, that's amazing. Anyway, assuming you did all of this right, you're going to spawn over here at the portal. As I mentioned before, there's about a 1 in 10 chance of an eye spawning in each of these end frames, but considering how low those odds are, there's a fair though unlikely chance that you're going to have a 0-eye portal, so of course keep that in mind for the luck factors I mentioned before. Anyway, portal to the end, just like this, head over to the center island. Next up, on to the Ender Dragon fight. First of all, you're going to want to do some good old-fashioned RNG manipulation, and there are 2 tactics you can use. I just set my spawn point, as you can probably see in the end, because I'm doing something that's a little bit dangerous. In his world record, Kuraway used a water bucket to climb up the first portal you see going into the end. But right now, if you want to be, you know, kind of cool speedrunner moves, use an Ender Pearl, and I'm dead. I knew that was going to happen. Attempt 2, Ender Pearl up here. Of course, be careful to do this right and not die. Never mind. It may take a little bit of practice, but it should look something along this line. You go up here, Pearl, place a block, Try not to glitch inside of the wall, considering this is, after all, a glitchless speedrun, but you get the gist of it. Alright, once you're at the top, do not destroy this Ender Crystal over here. You actually don't need to destroy any of them, and in case you're unaware of the one-step method for killing Ender Dragon, don't worry, I'll show you in just a second, though it would be nice to deal some damage to him. Anyway, over here we're going to want to build up a little bit, and I know this may seem really, really weird. You know, of course, organize your inventory. Wait a second, I forgot I lost everything, but pretend I didn't lose everything. Stand up here and just wait for the Ender Dragon to perch. Don't ask me how this is RNG manipulation, it just is. It's going to make it so he will perch sooner, and if of course he shoots dragons with it, you can just build up some more, you know, get out of the zone so you don't get hit by it. So at this point, all we gotta do is wait. And there you go, he's gonna start spiraling down. You can of course Ender Pearl down, and get ready to kill him using the bed. Though if that doesn't suit you, there's actually another thing you can do to manipulate the RNG of the Ender Dragon that is actually called the north-south method. So you're in the end, you're running over in this direction, take a right over here, and walk somewhere like over here, and then of course build up a little bit, and then once again, just wait. And I believe this will actually make it so the Ender Dragon will skip his spiraling in towards the center over here, so you actually do have to be pretty fast with your Ender Pearl, or else you're probably going to miss the Ender Dragon, so it will take a little bit of practice. And then of course build up if he does that to you, so you don't get hit by it. I'm actually in peaceful right now, I should probably change that, because if you do this in peaceful, it actually will not count towards a world record. Okay, I just missed it. Boom, there he goes, he's actually docking right now. An example of how quick you have to be here, because he's already up there, he just docked, so be very quick there, but we don't want to kill the Ender Dragon just yet, because it actually will take some practice, so we'll show you on to what I mean. I mentioned this in my last video, but if we actually hit F3, nope, that's F2, F3 plus B, nope, did it wrong, F3, B, and I'm dead. It'll actually show the hitboxes for all of the mobs. So over here you have Mr. Enderman guy, you can see his hitbox and of course his eyes, and once again, this thing over here, it's this like big thing that actually expands onwards, I didn't know that, and you can get an idea of exactly, you know, where the hitboxes for it are. Anyway, really another one of these, the Ender Dragon over here is actually a major mess. There are so many hitboxes, but there's one hitbox that's actually really important, that's that tiny hitbox right there. It is the hitbox for his head. Now I'm sure you're curious, what is so important about this? Well, if you actually hit that hitbox in particular, it'll actually do more damage to the Ender Dragon than if you hit him somewhere else. So the idea here is you want to place a bed at the top, and you're going to want to blow it up, while this tiny hitbox right here, where I just punched the Ender Dragon, is right over the Ender Portal, and that'll actually deal a lot of damage to him, in addition to actually keeping him from perching on this bedrock pillar over here, allowing you to do it multiple times over, allowing you to actually kill the Ender Dragon right then and there. Now, a great map for practicing is actually this one right here by a person named Emma. I swear I cannot pronounce the rest of the title. I'm so sorry, but I learned about it from a Curryway video. It's super helpful, and I'll definitely link it down in the description. Now, there are plenty of modes for practicing, and it's a little bit glitchy, so definitely be sure to set your spawn point in case you die or something else happens. Anyway, if you want to see the world record accomplished by Curryway, you can click right here. And to learn how to beat Minecraft in less than 2.5 minutes on a set seed world record, you can click right down here. But that is all here for now, and I'll see you all later.